UMNO President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi defends his track record as party leader, while challengers wait in the wings to make their move on top positions should they be made open to contest.
Let's bring you more on these latest political developments in Malaysia. Dr. Serina Rahman, a lecturer at the National University of Singapore's Department of Southeast Asian Studies, joins us live from Johor Bahru. Dr. Rahman, as my colleague just mentioned, no news, no word yet on whether UMNO will hold elections for its top two positions of president and vice president. Of course, Ahmad Zahid Hamidi has already signalled that he's open, he's ready to face any challenge. But should delegates by the end of this assembly, that's tomorrow, decide that they are going to open up these positions to an open contest, what does Ahmad Zahid Hamidi stand to lose?
Well, there's the presidency, if he does lose it. There is word that, he does have a very strong grassroots following. So whether he wins or loses is the big question. But of course, he may not want to take that chance. The sell is that we do need to have stability in order to take UMNO forward, given the loss in GE15. They need to restructure, regroup, develop a vision. And so with Zahid's experience as the president of UMNO, the concept is that, he's best placed to take it forward. He's been very conciliatory with the 10 people who supported Muhyiddin at one point. He said he forgives them. He's, telling people not to blame Ismail Sabri. The only spanner in the works now is that Khairy Jamaludin has come out to say that, he would be interested in running for president. And if he does, then he would back Anwar's unity government, he or anybody on his side. Now, clearly there are factions within UMNO, and that's what this is about. So it's which side might win it if there is an election. And a number of people have now come out to say, including Zamri, who is the foreign affairs minister, Ishamuddin, they've come out to say that they are going to stand for elections, but they're being very coy and they're not saying what they're going to stand for.
All right, if I could sum this up. Now, what Ahmad Zahid Hamidi has going for him is that if we get status quo, then the unity government under Anwar Ibrahim stays stable because UMNO and PH can remain as they are now. But with Khairy Jamaludin coming out to say, well, he has exactly the same position. Should he or his allies win, they will also support Anwar Ibrahim's coalition. Therefore, Mr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi has lost perhaps his major trump card in terms of securing support to stay on as UMNO president.
Yeah, this is the interesting thing, right? So the irony of our situation now, post-GE15, is that in the build-up to the elections, Zahid was actually the least popular Malay leader, and this was according to a Merdeka Center survey in September. But, people were against UMNO, and he happened to be the bogeyman at the time. They didn't want to vote for him, so the belief is that there were a lot of protest votes. But in the aftermath, it was either Perikatan and PAS as the government or Zahid and Anwar as the unity government. And so people who perhaps are not UMNO supporters were like, oh no, we now have to accept Zahid and UMNO. But then the people at the UMNO grassroots, there's two sides of it. There's those who do not want to work together with Pakatan Harapan, and there are those that support Zahid. So these are two sides of the coin. And now that Khairy has come out to say that even if his faction manages to lead UMNO, if there are elections for the very top posts, then he will still support the Anwar government. So now we have this question, if Zahid's asset was that he was able to work with Anwar, he is the deputy prime minister. And if, the fear was that if the other side comes up, then they'll start to work with Perikatan Nasional and bring in the other powers. Perhaps that point is now moot. But of course, this is all politics. So anything can be said yesterday and change within a couple of hours, today or tomorrow. So we'll just have to see, because it's no guarantee that there will be elections for
exactly
the top
as you mentioned. This is politics. So the same argument that we need to not have these positions open for contest because we need stability now. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi has to stay on. Similarly, you could argue he is a divisive figure. He has support, but he also has his detractors. So perhaps getting rid of such a divisive figure at this point may be exactly what we need to unite a fractured party.
Exactly. So I think, in the corporate world, you always try to bring in new ideas, new voices. But, the UMNO crew are all the same people. They're just moving around between the factions, depending on the wind and the mood. We need to remember that, even within PKR, Anwar himself was at one point an UMNO person. Prikatan at one point was part of UMNO. So really this is part of the game, right? So who's popular at the moment, who's got the lead power at the moment, who's got the trump card. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but we do know that they will try and consolidate power wherever they can and stay on for as long as they can, given all the other baggage that they might have in the background, which of course can't be spoken about.
All right, thanks so much for joining us this evening. Serina Rahman speaking to us live there from Johor Bahru.